Hey guys, Frank the Pest Geek here. Well, welcome to the first workout of the week. It's Thursday, and I came from PMU. Every time I do those trips, I just come back wiped out. The driving for 4 hours, 5 hours, because I got to stop, and of course I got to get coffee, and then I get coffee, and then I got to go to the bathroom. So then I got to stop, usually 2 times on the way. It's a 4-hour drive, takes me 5, and then I get over there, and then it's 8 hours in a classroom, which to me is grueling. So I gain weight on these trips because I'll eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Normally, when I'm home, I'm on 16/8, where I fast for 16 hours, and then I eat once, and then I eat again at 8 hours, and I maintain my weight that way. That's been my secret now, to be low carb. I'm not on keto. I'm on low carb. I don't eat any carbs, or actually I probably get about maybe 25, 30 grams a day of carbs. That's it. And then I mostly eat salads at night and eggs in the morning. And I'll make an omelet with ham, and, I'll just make my breakfast at home since I'm working at home all the time. When I'm on the road, I have to eat out a lot, and try to eat the same thing, but I end up, when I'm in a classroom, my brain is eating up calories of trying to absorb this amount of information coming at me, just oozing out of my ears, because that's the way the academic system is. And we've had this discussion. I had the discussion with Faith. I said, why do you do these 55-minute, 1-hour classes when we know that students learn best in short spurts of about 20 minutes? Because we remember the first and last thing, and we can retain a lot more. We take a mental break. It's exhausting. I mean, to sit there lectured, listening and absorbing, I only retain about 10%. The best mind is going to retain 10%. So I'm thinking maybe 7.5 with my mind. Very grueling. So I'll go and have, by lunchtime, I eat breakfast around 6, because class starts around, I eat breakfast around 6:30, 7. Class starts at 8. I'm usually there about 15, 20 minutes early. And then you're there all day in a classroom. And at 50, I have developed my own system for learning, where I learn enormous amount of data in very short spurts. So I read a lot of basically Google Scholar material, but I can absorb 2 to 3 of these a day because I can read them in short spurts. These are sometimes 20 to 200 pages. So I have a system and then I take notes, and then I create a PowerPoint, and then I teach it. Therefore, I've retained so much information, which is, if you really want to learn and you want your people to learn, put them to teach. I've learned that's the best way to get people to learn, is to actually have to teach it. When they have to teach it, they have to know that they know, and it puts a lot more pressure on them to be right. So if you've got a good technician, have them teach the label. Have your people teach the label, not you. Teach them how to teach the label, and then let them do it. And then correct whatever's wrong. So that way, they have to know it. They memorize it. It's when you hear it and you go ahead and you practice it and you do it, you retain so much more. This is why I learn so much, because I'll read something that's in an article, and then immediately I'll go out in the field and test it. And now I know that I know. And so we were having that discussion, and basically the state says, nope, it has to be 55 minutes straight through. There's no breaks. It can't be 20-minute spurts. You have to do it in a minimum of 50 minutes to get 1 CEU. And so we have people in government and in education going, wait a minute, this doesn't work. This isn't the best way. Yet we keep doing it over and over and over and over, expecting a better result. Isn't that insanity? So we know that these long lectures don't really help people, and yet this is how we teach in schools. We continue to tell kids, hey, cram for a ton of material that you got to take a test on the next day, memorize it, and then when you walk away from that, you won't practice it for 3 to 4 years, and you ain't going to remember a darn thing you learned 2 years ago in that class. If you retain 10% of it, you're lucky. So basically, you're paying $100,000, $50,000 for an education to retain 10, 20%, really know nothing when you graduate, and then go on to think you have a degree in something when you haven't tested it in the real world. You see the insanity of this, folks? This is why when I created the academy, all my lessons are 20, 30, tops 45 minutes on some of these that just have to work all the way through, especially the CEU. We got to make them compliant to an hour, but you can take a break. I mean, with our course, you can pause it and take a break with it and go back with it and continue. Go get a cup of coffee, let your mind rest for a couple minutes. You can go back and rewind it, see it again, and see it again. And then when you're done with it, then you can take your exam. You can take notes. You can have something different than sitting in a classroom and there's a time constraint. This is the problem I have with a lot of classroom training. For guys like me with ADD and ADHD, I never thrived in that environment. I never thrived in that type of environment where I just got to cram information to please a system. Not learning. I learn. This is why I learned so many trades, and I learn by myself, and I teach myself everything because I have all the patience in the world to teach myself. This is why I have all the patience in the world to teach people, because I understand how people learn and I can customize their learning for them. I can customize my training to adapt it to that person's speed. And that is the secret to really training and education. This is what I've been doing for 30 something years in training. Training is different than education, guys. Training has to do with getting the head knowledge into here and somehow out of here, out of the hands. It has to make that drop where they understand that it isn't all about head knowledge. They have to have the emotional intelligence for this work, but then they have to be able to do it. And that's the trick, is finding a person that can do all the three, that can think, organize, manage in their head, be borderline OCD, but then have a heart of caring, and then be able to function with their hands, not with just their head. This is the secret to pest management training. So yeah, I flunked this week on working out, and man, I have this big, hairy, audacious goal that I'm gonna need to get into a shape. But I gained over the last 3 weeks of going back and forth to PMU, I've gained almost 6 pounds. And the thing is that the day before, I have to just finish all the things I have to do before I leave, because I can't wait till I get back. I don't work on the weekends. I do, but I don't answer calls. We don't perform services. I'm working on the business versus in the business, usually on the weekends. I'm doing a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to get done when I have my kids. It's really all about them. I only work till noon, and then we take off, go to the beach, go hang out, take them to lunch, take them wherever they want to go and hang out with them. And then on Sunday, it's church, and then go to grandma's and spend the day with grandma's. So I'm figuring out a way to get my workout, get cardio in, because cardiovascularly, I need to get in shape really bad. At 50, my resting heart rate, sometimes it's 70 something, 80 something. I want to get that thing down. I don't want a resting heart rate. I need to balance it. And then also I want to be at about no more than 150 pounds of lean body mass, probably a 12 to 15% body fat, and the rest just get in shape. So now I did Stairmaster today for 30 minutes. I find that after 18 minutes, I start breaking that sweat. I get through that second win after 18 to 20 minutes. The first 18 minutes is exhausting for me. I feel like I'm not going to make it. The first 5 minutes is brutal. But then after 18 to 20 minutes, I get that second win, and then I can go. And I found that's when I start breaking that sweat, when I start going faster. My heart rate is probably around 130 something, keeping my heart rate in check, and just really trying to make this thing happen. I got to get physically fit. I got to get in the best shape of my life. I have a big, hairy, audacious goal. And I find that myself, unless I push myself and I have these big goals that I set, I just don't accomplish half of it. So I need to fail at half so if I can get it to where I'm really good in shape, better than the average bear, and I'm okay, but I need to just push for that to be in that triathlete shape. I want to be able to ride a bike, be able to swim and run in a triathlete, and that's my goal. That's my goal at 50. I'm pushing it. So I want you guys to push it this week. I want you to push it real good. All right. Push yourselves. Hey, birdie. I just had a bird land on my hood. See how easily distracted I get. I mean, look. a distraction, a butterfly. Um, yeah, guys. So that's the thing, man. I got the discipline to do so many things in my life. And this is so hard because I wake up in the morning thinking, I got to do this, I got to do that. And then I get tied up. So I'm deciding I'm just getting up, doing my stretching, doing my yoga, hitting the gym, not touching the computer, not worrying about it in the morning. That's my biggest thing, is that I worry in the morning about all the things I have to do. And then I start doing them and then I get distracted. So now I have to have the discipline not to work, which is hard. It's hard for me not to do stuff like that. So, guys, I hope this is, man, this is ringing home for a lot of you guys. This is not easy. Anybody who tells you they got this perfect setup, I mean, you got to be borderline, you got to be so OCD and so like disciplined to not get distracted. I mean, ADD with me is terrible. I mean, I suffered with it my whole life. I was in special class when I was a kid. This is why I have a hard time learning. People don't get it, that people with ADD have a difficult time learning because when we're in class, we have to stay so focused. If not, we'll wander off into la la land. Like the guy's talking about how we inject a wall, and I'm thinking about, okay, I'm going to do this when I get there. I'm going to do this when I get there. And he talked on for another 3 minutes, and I was in la la land thinking about how I'm going to actually do the service, because that's what I'm really interested in. So it's very difficult for a lot of us. And, it was like, I got to be in special class. I flunked second grade. I had to get a teacher for 4 hours a day to sit me by her side and teach me how to study by myself. That's why I had to learn to do a lot of things by myself. Didn't have a father growing up. Had to learn to do things by myself. Everything I've had to learn, I've had to do it by myself, and be self-taught in just about everything. When I look at HTML and I look at, how do you learn HTML? I just sit there and I learn it. But I have to devote so many more hours than the average guy to learn. I have a learning deficiency. I can learn the material, but I've developed a system to learn that helps me cope. And that's the difficult part. Now I got to discipline myself every morning to get to this gym. 6 days a week do cardio. So I did weights yesterday. Actually, this is the second workout. I'm sorry. I did my workout yesterday where I did chest, and then I did 30 minutes of cardio on the treadmill. And man, did I lose a lot of strength. But the guns are still showing up. I'm seeing the difference. I'm seeing my veins coming out, which I didn't see before. I see the difference in the mirror when I stand in front of the mirror. I won't stand in front of the mirror and show you because, this is too sexy for you. But I came in and I had to lower the weights, and so I can get the reps in, which is good because I focused on the reps and just lifting till I couldn't no more for the exhaustion. But I noticed a drop in strength after 1 week of not working. The last time I worked out was last Tuesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Today's Thursday. And this is my second. I'm going to come in tomorrow and do back. And then I'll wait. I'm going to come in on Saturday, do cardio, come back on Sunday and do legs. I might do back and legs on the same day, and then do cardio and for the next 2 days. But then my legs will be shot to do cardio. It's like once I do legs, I'm shot for 2 to 3 days in my legs, which is another thing I need to overcome. And so definitely did my yoga. So I'm not, the stress has been unreal. I did my roller because I have to do that roller. I got to roll out my muscles after I do yoga every morning. I take it on my trip. I take it on to PMU. I'm going back next week on the 10th to PMU, and then I'll be gone the 10th, the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, all the way through, because I'm going to the Paul J. Bello conference. I hope you guys are going. I know there's some people still signing up for that. We're gonna Jose Solano's from New Jersey is there, and Gus from New York, from Brooklyn, is going to be there. So we said, hey, look, what happens when 3 Hispanics walk into a Paul J. Bello conference? Don't worry about it. So I know that they're going, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them. I know a couple of guys that I that we talk on Facebook are going to be there. I'm taking some cigars, taking a lot of cigars to share. So I want to do some, if you're going to be there, I want to do a couple of podcasts. We sit by the pool, we sit by the bar, we sit anywhere you want to, and we just have a conversation about, man, the struggles, what we're doing. Get real. We need to get real. Too many people posing like they're got it all together, bro. We're all screwed up somewhere, and we don't have it all together. But dang it, can we all get together and try and not criticize each other so much? I'm gonna go do 2 inspections today for termites for friends that know that I'm now doing termites, and I'm going to be doing termites, and they want me to inspect the house because they just had a guy knock on their door and told them they had termites. They did a slab treatment next door, and they said, hey, you need to do a termite service because those termites are going to move over once they break the soil. And there's no evidence that they had subterranean termites before. And I know that they had drywood termites before, but I'm going to go out now today and do an inspection for 2 of my friends that asked me just to verify that if I find anything or not. And I said, it looks awfully suspicious the way they wrote it up because they did a subterranean termite treatment that's really incomplete. So now and these are large brands, by the way. So did the sales rep under pressure knock on the door and say, you're going to get it, you need to do it. And they're like, okay, and they don't have anything. Or the other one claimed that, yes, he did have, and I'm suspect at this point of what he found because he only put it in 5 points in the house, and that's it. And then no evidence, though. He said, I'm trying to figure out if there's no evidence, there's no live tubes, where is the subterranean termite? So I'm going to go over there and poke around, spend a couple hours today poking around and seeing what I can find in their house. And that's what we're dealing with, folks. We're dealing with this kind of stuff, charging somebody. They charged them $1,500 to do an attic treatment only for subterranean termites because the termites were coming over and they only did an attic treatment. They didn't inject the soil. Now he comes back the next day and says, well, we got to inject the soil too. It's going to be another $1,500. That makes no sense. Why you would do that? You're basically ripping people off. If you're telling them the termites are going to come over because you did a slab treatment, you only treated the attic, charged them $1,500 to spray the attic. We don't know what they sprayed and how they did it. And then they come and say, well, now we got to do a drilling and we got to do that. And that's going to be another $1,600 if you want it. That was what you should have done if you were worried about termites coming over from a slab, which are subterranean termites, or at least install stations. They're doing a liquid treatment now. So, this is the stuff we're dealing with, folks, in the field. The lying to customers, the misinformation. You got inspectors going out there that don't know how to ID. They're looking at damage and saying, yep, that's it, you need to treat because there's damage, and not looking if there's live damage or finding out. It's a lot of stuff that I'm finding, bro, that I'm looking into the field, and we're just going to have to educate consumers. And educated consumers are our best customer, and why we need to teach them how we do an inspection, why we do it this way, what's the right way to do an inspection, and let people be informed. And we're all about education and training. And that's what I'm about. And I'm going to live out my life teaching and training people because that's where I thrive. That's where I'm happiest. I can do it. I can learn it. So I can do the theoretical. I can do the practical. And then I can pull it off in the field. That's the difference. So, guys, this is Frank the Pest Geek wishing you a pestacular day.